Good afternoon. This is Simcha Lefton. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. This is your weather podcaster, weather enthusiast Simcha Lefton. Super exciting week for summer enthusiasts, especially if you love hot weather. This is the first air mass of the year, which has an unusually hot air mass associated with it. This one's taking over Texas. Before we reach Texas, however, it's unbelievable what's going on in North Dakota, South Dakota, even portions of southern Canada and Minnesota. We currently have cities which have already reached 99 degrees yesterday, and they're right now 97 degrees. Some of these places, Phillip, South Dakota, 97 degrees on the way up to a high of, it's not clear, upper 90s, possibly 100 degrees in some locations in South Dakota, even in North Dakota. We have counties in the mid-90s for portions of North Dakota. And we even have an area on the border of Minnesota and North Dakota with temperatures in the mid-90s. We'll try to include those details later on, but the exact cities. But Phillip, South Dakota is one of those cities. And one of the reasons for the intense heat, especially if you go to the Rapid City area, is due to downslope winds occurring off of the Black Hills. State of Missouri will have something similar happening on Thursday. Winds blowing downslope off the Ozark Plateau blows into the St. Louis area, pushing those temperatures into the low 90s for Thursday afternoon. The record high is 94 degrees in St. Louis Thursday afternoon. It's a one-day heat for St. Louis, but those cities up in the Dakotas, some of those places have been seeing 90s since Friday already. This would be day number 4 with temperatures well into the 90s, and we likely will see a couple 100-degree temperatures over there. So this is already occurring before the heat reaches Texas. The heat in Texas is associated with the heat dome. The heat dome is only indirectly connected to the heat up north. They're on the northern edge of the heat dome, but it's really the downslope winds that's really helped to bring these temperatures all the way up, along with the dry air mass. The sun is super efficient at heating dry air, and realize we are getting pretty close to June 21st, only about 5 or 6 weeks out. So we're headed, it's almost like an August 1st sunshine, definitely a hot sun in all of these locations, along with long daylight hours. The dry air produces super efficient heating with the sun. Texas then becomes the focus of the heat wave. That's Tuesday through Thursday. Many locations, San Antonio, Texas, temperatures go into the mid-hundreds for Tuesday and Wednesday. Humidity gets added back into the air later in the week, and that brings those temperatures down. Temperatures are hot in Dallas, Texas as well. We see temperatures up into the 110s over in peak heating parts of Texas. Currently, temperatures 94 degrees in Brownsville, Texas, dew points only in the low 60s. New Orleans, Louisiana National Weather Service tells us that the heat dome will be peaking at a geographical height of 593 decimeters. That's what they think. 588 decimeters is the threshold for major heat wave, so 593 is well above that. We could be seeing temperatures this hot without having to go to 593. 588 decimeter, that's enough to bring temperatures into the 90s, but we have a 593 decimeter heat dome, something quite intense, especially for May, heads into the Gulf state. That thing is expected to peak around Thursday, and then it kind of weakens a little bit. So we have dew points headed up into the 70s. Dew point Corpus Christi, Texas tends to be one of the most humid cities. Dew point of 77 degrees is expected there. Thursday afternoon, we have an interesting setup regarding the severe weather. What's most interesting about it is that St. Louis doesn't look like it's going to be included. As of right now, St. Louis is not included. Who's ever heard of this? Because I'll tell you what's strange about this, but Chicago is included. St. Louis is not included. The main chance for storms will be east and northeast of the St. Louis area, Currently, the severe weather risk is at a 2 for Chicago on a scale of 1 to 5. It's at a 2. If you look on the different models, you'll see the thunderstorm complex develops big time off the border of Iowa and Illinois Thursday afternoon. That's where the dry line is, and that's where we likely will see a triple point. This means tornado action. All of the storm chasers, that's the thing they pay attention to. If you've ever seen the movie Supercell, so you know the triple point is the thing to pay attention to. That's where the funnel clouds would develop. So that's going to be around the border of Illinois and Iowa Thursday mid to late afternoon. D-A-V-E-N-P-O-R-T, right around that city with temperatures in the mid-90s. And that's where we see the dry line along with deep low pressure up in Minnesota. But the low pressure system, the deep low pressure, the center of it is in Minnesota. So whether there's an actual triple point, we'll have to wait and see. But there still will be a pretty deep low pressure of 29.3 making its way into the Illinois area, peaking at 29.1 in Minnesota. The dry line then makes its way across the state of Illinois, with the thunderstorm complex reaching Chicago later on in the evening. One would think that the chances for severe weather would be higher along the Mississippi River right around Illinois and Iowa for Thursday afternoon. But St. Louis, it's just climatologically speaking, St. Louis is always included in thunderstorms. So although the current thinking, the forecast, the scientific forecast shows that the main chance for storms is going to be northeast of St. Louis. And in fact, it's not even in the forecast. Thunderstorms don't even enter the forecast in St. Louis until Friday. That's due to it's a dry front, a dry Pacific front moving across the St. Louis area Thursday afternoon. Strange stuff to have a dry front when we have dew points going into the 60s, even widespread 70-degree dew points over many locations from the Gulf Coast all the way up. And the Chicago area, we'll see temperatures before we get to the Chicago area. St. Louis, again, low 90s. Chicago area, temperatures go close to that in the south suburbs, mid and upper 80s. As you get closer to the lake, we could see some complications over there. Currently, European computer model shows areas closer to the lake having a high of only in the lower 80s for Thursday afternoon. There will be in the Chicago region, which will hit 90 degrees Thursday afternoon. I wish everybody a wonderful day. Thank you for listening, and stay safe in this heat. And a weather radio. No, weather radio is always the best way to protect against with severe weather due to the alerts. Or the Storm Shield app is also something totally phenomenal. I wish you a good day. Thank you for listening. Just want to tell you information about the songs. So the songs come from Podcast Maker for some of them. The background music, Atlantic Tunes Calm. That's the information that I have. We also have Under the Sea by Dylan Joseph. That's from Epidemic Sound. Natural Inclination by Dream Cave from Epidemic Sound. Journey Through the Desert, True Sway, Epidemic Sound. Calm Before the Storm, Howard Happer Barnes from Epidemic Sound. The Star Spangled Banner, it doesn't list the name, but it's from Epidemic Sound. We're going to be looking just at a couple of temperatures just to see if the temperature has hit any area, if we've seen temperatures get up to 100 yet. If you go to thewindy.com, you look at the temperatures. Rapid City, it looks like it's 93 degrees over there. We have a place in Nebraska where the temperature is 96 degrees. Made it up to 97 today. This is Cherry, Nebraska. Cherry, Nebraska has been seeing temperatures in the mid-90s since Friday.